Okay, welcome to another edition of Survival Stuff with Indiana Jim, sponsored by Live Free USA, America's oldest and most respected preparedness advocacy organization. We've been around since 1968. Our website can be found at americansurvivor.org. That's americansurvivor.org. We are a not-for-profit, tax-deductible organization. We're only supported by your contributions and your memberships. If you want to join, you can actually join online, become a member, download all of our back issues and some special stuff that only members get. I thought today I would kind of clean out my junk drawer and talk about survival gadgets. If you've been in this as long as I have, which is over 50 years, well over 50 years, you accumulate a lot of gadgets, a lot of little survival items that aren't necessarily essential. A lot of my programs I talk about essentials and basic things that you must have. None of this stuff that I'm going to talk about today falls in that category. I guess the standard here would be, is it a potentially useful device? Under certain circumstances they are. They usually have multiple purposes. Usually are small, cheap, and easy to carry, and may or may not be practical, but better than nothing, BTN, in an emergency. So that's what makes them gadgets. Okay. Now sometimes I write about these different gadgets and devices in the American Survivor newsletter, which you can subscribe to. I've also covered them rather extensively in my most recent book, The Ultimate Book of Survival Gear from Skyhorse Publishing. It's also, you can also get it on Amazon. I have 36 categories of survival stuff in this book. In fact, the original title was going to be Survival Stuff, but the publisher didn't like that. So anyhow, I got 36 categories and I bring it all together in your survival packs and escape packs and emergency survival kits and evacuation packs and home survival equipment. But anyhow, in there I also cover one chapter sort of on stuff, odds and ends and items, escape devices and little gadgets that I found through the years. One of the first things that came out back, in the late 60s, early 70s, there wasn't a lot of specific survival stuff out there. But one of the things that came out kind of early was survival cards. Now, when you go to Google and you Google survival cards, what you're going to get is survival information cards, which is cool too. By the way, these are like, none of us can remember all the survival information that we want. So this isn't a bad idea to have in your pack. To have handy is buy some survival cards, and you can get these, this is all climate survival cards. Let's see, I don't know who this is by or who produced this one, but survival kits, knapsacks. But anyhow, these were made in Bloomington, Indiana, actually something made in the United States. But if you Google survival cards, you'll get this, and you can order that kind of stuff on Amazon. You can also get, when you talk about survival cards, this happens to be an old military set, but there's actually playing cards available out there where you can use the playing cards, but you can also gather survival information while you're playing cards during the Great Armageddon. Okay, so that is survival cards, if you will, and yeah, I would recommend maybe you want to get some of those and put them in your pack, put them in your survival kit for that basic information you may need. But the survival cards that first came out were really stainless steel, pieces of stainless steel that had been fashioned in various ways to make them useful in a survival situation, and they can fit right in your wallet. Now, this isn't going to get through the TSA, okay? Put this in your wallet, there's going to be a problem. But if you get wanded, like, sometimes I get wanded going into events and stuff, they tell me to put my wallet and stuff and take it out, hold it in my hand, and then they scan me. And by the way, I've been the guy that scans people too. We know the wallet because you got credit cards and stuff, it's going to set off the device. So we're looking more for guns and big knives and stuff. So this would be in your wallet, and it's probably not going to, they're not going to going to catch that you got this piece of metal. But anyhow, this one's, as you can see, it's got a saw blade on it. It's got a knife blade. It's got a bottle opener, various types of wrenches, various types of devices. The original one, which I haven't been able to find lately, actually had a hole here. You could hang it, and it was magnetized, so you could actually use it as kind of a primitive compass. But now these cost maybe $15, $20, and you can get them on Amazon, and you can get them at survival supply stores. This is another nice one that I have here. By the way, they have a mirror. They're always polished, so you've got a reflective mirror. This has a couple of other devices on it. Again, it's got a couple of blades, bottle opener, saw blade, kind of handy. I'll show you that one. You see, that one has got a. They're both made of stainless steel. They're all made in Japan, apparently. Let's see, this one here. With the light the way it is, I can't really read what that is. This one here was one I've had for a long time. It's a little more complicated. It's got a sharpening stone back here. It's got a pair of scissors that folds out. It's definitely thicker. It's got an actual knife that folds out of it. Got a ruler here. Again, mirror function that you can use for signaling. Magnifying glass, bottle opener, a couple of other things built into it. And you may find these out there too. This was also made in Japan. This is, it says Hofritz on it. I don't know what that really means. Like I said, I've had it for a long time, but apparently Hofritz, but it was made in Japan. So survival cards, both the information cards and the wallet cards, kind of handy. They also make a kind of a non-metallic card for, that you can get through the airport. But that's definitely considered a survival gadget. Also, Ready Man. Let's see, that would be at ReadyManTool.com. ReadyMan makes a whole variety of survival cards that are basically punched out stainless steel. I think they're stainless steel cards. This one happens to be lock picks. We'll talk a little more about lock picks in a minute as gadgets. But anyhow, you can separate all these out, and you've got lock picks, and you've got a little bit of a saw here for an escape device, along with the ability to pick various locks and get yourself into or out of different kinds of situations. They also have a wilderness survival card like that, which has arrowheads and various other devices for wilderness survival. Fisherman's with fishing tools and hooks on it. Medical survival has some tweezers and other kinds of things you could use in a medical emergency. All these kind of little survival kits. www.readymantools.com is where you would go to get these, and they have all, and I'll be looking at some of those others. Their escape devices, for instance, their fishing kit. These things cost about $21, if I'm not mistaken, about $21 a piece. But they really, they can back up, even in your pack. They give you some extra goodies, some extra gadgets that you can use in an emergency. So let's talk for a minute about, since we talked about ReadyMan lockpicks, we'll talk a little bit about lockpicks. Now, in a couple of my articles and in one of my books, I mentioned, probably one of the few people that mentioned this, the ability to pick locks or break into things might be a critical survival skill. You're going down the street and there's that, access to supplies that you need under survival conditions, under really worst case scenarios. Breaking into a house to get warmth and get food is justifiable. I'm not telling you to do this on an everyday basis or to be looting, but okay, it's life or death for you or other people. Our fire department, we had a flood here, and they had a whole moral problem of breaking into a gas station across the street, which had all kinds of food in it that was about to be flooded out, and they had all kinds of people they just pulled out of a nursing home that needed food. Could they break into there and get that food? I don't remember how they settled that, but it's a moral dilemma a little bit, but it really shouldn't. It's a survival priority. So you may have to, learning to pick locks and things can be a critical, useful survival skill. So I wanted to talk about some of those things. And one of the things here is a set of lock picks. And you can get these at budk.com, budk.com. You can get a set of lock picks like this and learn how to pick locks. They also will provide you with an actual lock. There it is. They'll actually provide you with a lock picking training kit, which has a lock where you can actually see the tumblers and you can see the pins and the tumblers, and you can practice on this lock with the lock picks to hone your skills. And it takes a while to get good at this, how to pick a padlock with this kit. So you can sit there watching TV at night or whatever and be learning to pick locks, and it's a survival skill you could use. They also sell, and again, this is a budk.com. They sell a practice a handcuff escape training tool, which is the handcuff itself, one handcuff, and they tell you the various tools and the instructions on how to get out of handcuffs. And we'll talk about some escape devices in a little while about handcuffs and how to get out of them. And some of these tools also have a sharpened blade to cut, restraints, rope, and various restraining things that might be around your wrist, like duct tape, for instance. So they have a number of things like that. You can also, if you want to get real fancy, you can get a lock-picking gun, which basically you insert this into the lock and you click it, and you can make adjustments here. And again, it takes practice. It doesn't just click, oh, it's open. No, it takes a little work. But this is a device to spring locks, and so you may want to have this in your pack. You may want to keep something like this handy if you don't want to spend a lot of time learning how to pick locks manually. They also have a set of bump keys that you can buy. Bump keys are where you put the key in, you get proper key into the lock, and usually you put a little rubber band or a rubber washer around here and you bump it. And you bump it, and lots of times it will hit the pins and jar the lock open. Again, takes practice. So if you get these things, don't just stick them in your pocket and think, I can get in anywhere. It takes practice. It takes a little work to learn how to use bump keys and master keys. So there's bump keys, then you can get various master keys, and with these, actually these are the bump keys. You can actually get these again. You get those at budk.com. Might be something that you might want to add to your survival supplies. Also, on the various survival catalogs, you find bandanas. Now, I've often advocated bandanas because you can make a bandage, you can cover your face, you can make, you can stop bleeding, you can make a tourniquet. I carry a bandana. I consider it an everyday carry item. But they also make some bandanas that have critical medical information on them. They make bandanas that have critical survival information on them. So why not have, if you're going to carry them, why not have something like this? I don't know what the exact source for this one is, but again, we have Google, so we can look this stuff up and order it online fairly conveniently. Sometimes you can find this stuff at places like Cabela's. Little gadget that I picked up. I think I picked this up actually at a gun show, but this is a spoon. America invents everything. We invented the spork. Okay, it's basically a fork and a spoon, which you got to take with you anyhow. In fact, I just mentioned that some people forget to put something like that in their survival pack. But it's also got a device for a bottle opener and a small wrench and a can opener and a few other handy gadgets. So I consider it a gadget, but it's also part of what you would normally want to have in your pack. So that's important. Now, ultimate gadget here. This is at $40 for a lighter, okay? It's a laser-powered lighter. Now, this is really quite something. If you hold it up real close here, you can see it? Okay, that's how you light your fire. It's an electric, laser-powered $40 lighter. And I believe this is from Stealth Angel. So Stealth Angel has a lot of neat stuff. But this one's about 40 bucks. But they have a lot of really nice knives. Stealth Angel has a lot of gadgets, but they also have a lot of really good stuff. In fact, another gadget, survival pen or combat pen or tactical pen, if you will. I carry this one. It's rather heavy duty. And again, you know, if my handgun fails, you know, then I'm getting up close and personal. I got something more than my bare hand to strike various critical areas with this tactical pen. It also will, by the way, it'll write. It's got a writing. It's a writing pen, but it's really heavy duty. So you can get these. Stealth Angel specializes in that. In fact, Stealth Angel actually has a kit it has a small flashlight, fire starter, tactical pen, number of other items. They call it an everyday carry kit for $19.95. Might want to look into that. Other tactical pens. I've had this one for a long time. This is a tactical pen that you can see it folds out that way. And then this way, and you see you've got a knife, a pretty nasty little knife. You can find these online. I've had this for so long. Excuse me for being an old guy, but I've got stuff that I bought 30, 40 years ago. I don't remember where the hell I got them at this point. But nevertheless, these are still out there. They're available. Nice steel pen, sort of tough and could be used for a tactical pen, but it folds into a really nice knife. And then finally, as a tactical pen, this is a titanium pen. And we're going to open this up. This is from 5-Star Gear. Now, 5-Star Gear, which is, by the way, the 5-Star Gear, they use the 5 as the S, okay, as the first letter in the 5-star, so it's 5IVESTARGEAR.com, okay, 5-Star Gear. This is their tactical pen. It's titanium, really tough pen, okay, and so you can use this. It's not going to break like a cheap plastic pen, although it looks just exactly like a cheap plastic pen. Other little thing you might notice about that, there's this little nub on the end of it right here. That's a handcuff key, okay? So this will actually unlock a handcuff. So if you're in a situation you can hang on to your pen, they don't take your pen away from you maybe, you got your handcuff key right there. And let's see if I can find a price on that. Yeah, this cost about, no, this costs about $10, okay? It cost 10 point? Yeah. Anyhow, I'm trying to look at the prices for you here. You know, weird gadget I picked up in New Orleans at a souvenir shop. Sometimes you find things in strange places. Little gadget here years ago in New Orleans. Just happened to notice this little device. So what it is, it folds out into a pair of binoculars. You remember I talked about knowing, you know, even a four power binoculars makes you 4 times more likely to spot something than if you didn't have any binoculars. And these are, you know, obviously nothing fancy. There is a compass involved here. There is a mirror for catching things. You can also use these lenses as magnifying glasses. So it's sort of a neat little gadget. I don't know, but you know, when you look around in souvenir shops and stuff like that, sometimes you'll find little gadgets that could be part of your survival kit. Okay. They also sell things, and I think this may have been from Stealth Angel. I'm not really sure. It's a survival stick, and this can go on your keychain or on your belt. It gives you a lot of cordage you can unwrap. They've got a knife sharpener in here. You can, for sharpening your knives on one end. The other end, There's a fire. They got a fire starter on the other end. So it's kind of useful. And also, 5-Star Gear offers an escape stick. And the escape stick this is really small. You can see how small this is. But the escape stick, and let's see, how much is the escape stick? Is 27 bucks. Because it's got a carbide cutting blade inside, wrapped in this rubber. And it's got a key, again, to open handcuffs on the other end. And it's so small, you can carry this, goes in this little plastic carrier. But you could carry this almost anywhere, and it probably won't get detected. They also offer this knife. Okay, this ceramic knife is $10.95. It's all ceramic. It's very sharp, very tough, but it's not metal, so it won't set off a metal detector. So that's a gadget, maybe, but maybe depending on your particular survival situation, it may be an essential item to have. And this is the, let's see, what do they call this? Sharpen Spark. You can get it at Amazon, and you can get it at woodcraft.com. It's a nice keychain thing. You can make a survival keychain. You put a flashlight on there, a fire starter, a couple of other essential survival items maybe your pepper spray. It's all on a survival keychain, if you will. But this would be something to think about. It's got a knife sharpener. You can use it to sharpen knives. And then it is a fire starting, magnesium fire starting rod here that you can use along with the striker on the side to start a fire. It's a pretty significant magnesium rod. So you've got the ability to start a fire, and you also have the ability to sharpen knives. And the newer one, this is one of the older ones, the newer one also comes, I think, with a bottle opener built into it. Another one of those souvenir shop gadgets, but it's a whistle. Whistle, it's got a compass in it. Compasses, not all that important compared to other things. Got a thermometer on the other side. Now, frankly, the survival gadgets that have thermometers, I'm like, if you're cold and if you're hot. So I'm not sure how important they are, but it's okay. But, you might want to look at a gadget like that. What have I got? Oh, here. This is another thing. Those of you, I've talked about these before. Neck knives. Basically, you put it over your neck, you hang it under your shirt, and if all else fails, and you can't access your real knife, your gun, your whatever you need, or your survival knife or whatever, you always want to have something that's sharp that can cut. Okay, you can always carry one of these. If somebody searches you, there's a fair chance they won't get to the middle, maybe, especially if you can distract them a little bit. So you got a good chance of hanging on to your neck knife. And let's just pull this neck knife back out of here. Now that I got it in here, I got to get back out. This is a small, they come a little bigger, but it's got a pretty nice little blade on it. And again, it's not a survival knife, but it's way better than nothing for defense and for survival purposes, for cutting things, cutting yourself loose from restraints or whatever whatever situation you may be in. A neck knife is not a bad gadget to have. Okay, so moving right along here. Last thing I want to bring up and show you, and this costs. I know I wanted to do some nice stuff for my book, so I really went whole hog and put some money into some things that I probably don't need, but I thought they were pretty cool, and I think it was about 40 bucks. But anyhow, here's two 50-cent pieces. And they made this, they said they made this for the CIA. This was also from 5-Star Gear. Yeah, 5-Star Gear. You get their catalog or go online. They got some really interesting regular survival equipment, but they also have some really interesting spy stuff, if you will, or escape stuff, okay? So anyhow, here's two 50-cent pieces, but there's a difference between these two, okay? This one opens up and has a blade inside, a razor blade inside of it. And you got to just open that up, and then there's a razor blade. I don't know if you can see that well. You see that little razor blade sticking up out of there? So you have something to cut restraints, those kind, you know, and escape as escape device and so on. They actually must have taken a long time to make a slit in this coin, and it coined like that. Slit it, put that little razor blade and those bands in there and install it. So I can see why it cost $40. I got to be careful I don't actually spend this. I keep it with my gadget supplies. So anyhow, that's just my little introduction to survival gadgets. If any of you out there have a gadget that you think is really neat, let me know about it. You can email me at survivorjj@aol.com. That's survivorjj@aol.com. And I'd love to feature these devices. If you don't want to send me a free one, just send me tell me where to get those devices, or tell me a story about where you got it and send me a photograph. I'd love to continue a survival gadgets part of our little program. But anyhow, for now, till next time, this is Indiana Jim for Life and Freedom. Stay cool out there and be safe. Thank you.